Perfect. There's more seats up front, guys, if people are running out of seats. But we are so thrilled to be here together with Oege to talk about the future of cybersecurity powered by AI. Before we get into it, I'll introduce our chief guest tonight, Oege Moor. He's got a storied background, who taught computer science at Oxford for about 20 years. Built SEML, which he sold to GitHub. Went on to start GitHub Copilot, which is one of the most popular AI tools used by developers. Maybe some of you here in the audience today have used GitHub Copilot. And last year, he started XBOW, which is what we're here to talk about. XBOW is building the future of safe cyber world, and we're excited to get into it. Thank you for being here with us.
Thanks very much, Apoorv. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you. I'll return the compliment. I'm here together with Apoorv. Apoorv is a partner at Altimeter Capital. He invested in OpenAI, in Glean, and in XBOW. His background is as a software engineer at Palantir. And when we were doing our last fundraising round for XBOW, we went around lots of firms for about 2 weeks. And on the very last day, I met Apoorv. And this was our first meeting. And yet it felt like we'd been talking for at least 5 months. Exactly aligned in our vision, where we want to take this company, and so the rest is history.
That's right. That's right. Well, here's to flexible minds. Oege, you are doing something that is incredibly important for the free world, for the Western world. Would you please tell us about what does XBOW do in plain English? Thank you so much.
XBOW is an AI-powered hacker. It is an autonomous AI agent that you give it a URL and it will go and autonomously find and exploit vulnerabilities in web applications. And so I say it again because it's very important. It's truly autonomous. All you give it is the target. Perhaps you give it some extra information like credentials for different roles, but that is it. Just based on that information, it will go and explore what is this application doing, what are the potential points of attack, and it will craft exploits and give you back a report of everything that it's found.
Wow, that sounds powerful. You had a couple of big announcements earlier this month, a couple of weeks ago. Tell us about those announcements. What do they mean for the executives in this room? What does this mean for their businesses?
So the obvious question when I say autonomous AI agents that does hacking, how good is it? How good is it compared to a human? And in order to answer that question, we entered it onto the HackerOne platform. HackerOne is a platform that connects ethical hackers with companies that wish their systems to be tested. And HackerOne maintains a leaderboard where you get points for every bug that was accepted by one of the customers of HackerOne. So these are guaranteed true positives, problems that were acknowledged and have been fixed. The #1 hacker in the United States for the past quarter has been XBOW. So it's not a human, it outperformed all the humans, and it's at the very top. And then the next question you might ask is, but are these just a lot of shallow vulnerabilities? After all, a machine walks faster than a human. And the answer is no. These are deep, interesting findings. And in fact, we've published a couple of these. We've published a 0-day in Global Protect, a product of Palo Alto Networks that is used by thousands of enterprises worldwide. We've also published a set of critical vulnerabilities in Cloud Test, a product of Akamai. Akamai kindly agreed that we could publish these because they too felt that it's very important that the world understands the power of AI in finding vulnerabilities. And then just yesterday, we published a a finding in a critical component of Salesforce. The vulnerability had been there for years, and it had escaped thousands and thousands of human hackers. But the AI did find it, quite surprisingly, and of course Salesforce immediately fixed it and allowed us to talk about it once again, because it's important that people understand that cybersecurity has changed completely. AI has two different impacts on cybersecurity. First of all, if a small team of extremely clever people, powered by, backed by some of the best investors in the world, can build this thing, then surely our adversaries, adversarial nation states, criminal organizations, can build similar tools to forge cyber attacks like never before. So that's the first problem, that the cybersecurity problem introduced by AI. Everyone has to raise their game. It's going to be much faster than ever before. Secondly, AI is now being used for code generation. I guess I'm partly responsible for introducing this problem. This actually it introduces way more vulnerabilities than before. I mean, people are now vibe coding their way to applications. These are people who are not necessarily trained as software engineers. They are just certainly not trained in cybersecurity. And so we are seeing a vast increase in the number of vulnerabilities at the same time that malicious hackers have power tools powered by AI.
Pretty wild, pretty scary. If I was a CEO and I have a large organization like Salesforce or others that you have broken into, what should I be doing? How can I stay secure? Is there something that I can do today that'll make my future secure?
You got to fight fire with fire. You got to use AI to find the bugs before the bad guys do. And so the best thing you can do is to try out XBOW on your own systems. I'll totally get it. There's still a substantial amount of skepticism that AI can do such a creative, difficult job as finding deep vulnerabilities in software systems. But the technology is here today. You've got to get ready. Personally, what I think is going to happen is that we are going to enter a period of chaos. We're going to enter a period of chaos because the industry, the world, is not ready yet in order to counter the increased threat from AI-powered attacks. In the long run, though, that chaos will give way to a stable situation where the defenders have the upper hand, because defenders can use XBOW and systems like it in order to find all the vulnerabilities before they expose their systems to the outside world. So I'm optimistic in the long term, but in the short term, we're going to see some very serious incidents because the world is not ready and people don't realize that the skill shortage that existed on the side of the malicious attackers has now been solved. Just by paying a little bit extra for GPUs, they can attack any system, anytime, as frequently as they like. And until a very short time ago, it was difficult to do that because there's just not enough people to create all these attacks. But now, because it's automated, it can and will happen.
Fascinating. This is the state of affairs today. You know, we are 2.5 years into the ChatGPT era. Cybersecurity tends to run a year or two after waves of technology because it's a cat and mouse game, right? And the bad guys are catching up. When do you expect the ChatGPT moment of cyber hacking will happen? When the world will wake up with their eyes wide open to a big attack that is AI powered?
It's going to happen in the next 12 months. It's already clear that from all the statistics you can see that there is a vastly greater number of attacks happening today. But there is going to be a major incident that people didn't expect, simply because there's now so much, it's become so easy to create these attacks. Once again, I was telling you about this HackerOne leaderboard. In order to get to the top, XBOW found about 1,200 vulnerabilities. A week ago it was 1,000, but a lot of them were added in a week, in just a week. Bad guys could have done that too. These are 1,200 vulnerabilities in systems at the major corporations in the world. And so we need to get ready. A major incident is about to happen.
Wow. That was our thesis as well. As we were looking to invest in XBOW, you know, on one side you've got cyber attacks are on the rise. Any CISO here in the audience would know your job is harder, not easier, compared to 2 years ago. Second, you've got a lot more code that is being written by AI, thanks to your work at GitHub Copilot, and a bunch of sponsors of the Raise event. And third, you know, AI can help. The nature of the problem is such that AI can help and actually make the life easier. CISOs want less, not more. They want less alerts, more time, less fatigue.
So that's actually a really good point. Even today, the gold standard in securing software systems is to ask an external expert, a human expert, to come and attack your systems and report what they found. It is the gold standard because these are experts and they find good stuff. But critically, the stuff they report are real problems. They are real problems. The report comes, if I run these steps, I have an attack. I can breach your system. And the same thing is true of XBOW. Everything it reports is a true exploit, guaranteed to be a problem. And so it's not nice. It's definitely problems that need to be fixed.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can raise it a layer further, talk about the state of AI. I mean, you have been an expert in the world of AI for decades. Oege, you have seen more winters than people have seen summers of AI. And so, you know, one of the games that we love to play at Altimeter is what we call the long short game. What is a business, what is an opportunity other than XBOW that you are very optimistic about in the state of AI, that you'd be like, hey, this is going to be a big deal?
So actually, most of my working life, I was a professor at Oxford. At Oxford, the method of teaching is very old-fashioned, but also immensely effective. You do tutorials with 1 or 2 students at a time.
Oh, wow.
Some of my very best research as an academic I did with undergraduate students in tutorials because we ran out of boring exercises, and so we decided to talk about a research problem. I believe that method of teaching tutorials should be available to everyone in the world, not to the select few who manage to get a place at a university like Oxford. And so I'm super optimistic that this is possible. We could have personalized tutors that do the same type of work that I used to do as a professor at Oxford, but make it available to anyone, anywhere in the world.
That's powerful. I feel like that would add at least 10 to 20 points of IQ in the students. That's great. Well, maybe for the more fun part, what would you short? What would you say has more hype than reality, more sizzle than steak? What would you short?
Code generation.
Wow. From the creator of GitHub Copilot, ladies and gentlemen, he would short code generation. Let's hear it. Why is that?
So I think that code generation overall is obviously very useful, but it's completely overstated what it actually can do for a complete system. It's certainly possible to generate small scripts and you do useful work. But the big architectural ideas, that the stuff that was hard about software engineering in the first place, that is still there, and it is just as hard as before. What became easier is to translate those ideas into the specific syntax of a particular programming language, which is good, it's very helpful, and it speeds up the process of typing your code. But it doesn't actually solve the hardest problems in software engineering yet. I will say that there are some players who've actually been at this for a very long time, like Replit, where I'm very bullish. But it's not just about their code generation, it's about everything else that they created around it in order to make it easy to deploy apps, in order to make the whole process so easy that people who are not professional engineers can still create useful working apps.
That's a great point. I mean, Replit's been at it for a while, and then you've got others who have showed up 6 months ago and are going
No
for
names.
No names, no names, no names. All friends. Fascinating. Anything else you would add to the list? Anything else you're bullish on? Bearish on?
So I'm a great fan of what Suno does, music generation. If I was not an entrepreneur and computer scientist, I would be a musician, and I find it completely wild that you give a description in English and it creates the lyrics, it creates the music, and it's not brilliant, but it's certainly good enough as background music.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. They've got to figure out the copyright issue.
Like many AI systems.
That many AI systems. That's right. That's right. Well, by the way, if the audience has any questions for us, we'll take it. Go ahead. I'll repeat the question for the audience. Basically, previously, before AI showed up, penetration testers' job was to break into these perimeters. With AI, do you think there'll be penetration testers using AI? Or do the jobs of the testers go away and it's fully autonomous?
It is fully autonomous. I do, however, not think that the jobs of security professionals go away. It will completely change the nature of the job now. The humans become orchestrators, deciding about what the targets are. They might instruct the AI about particular business logic rules that they wish to be checked. And so it raises the game, but it's certainly already now the case that XBOW outperforms most human pen testers. And within a year, it will be completely superhuman. But once again, that is for the technical work of once you have a target, once you know what you wish to go and test for, and then it is autonomous. But you still have to make those big decisions yourself.
Great question. Go ahead. I didn't actually catch that. You said, have you seen what? Bad actors use AI to break in. Have you seen bad actors using AI to break into software yet?
So I can't say for sure, because how would you know that it's done? It was done by an AI. A lot of the stats point to this. So one of the most important ones is that the time from publishing a security patch to unpatched systems being exploited in the wild has gone from a few weeks to less than a few hours. This is clearly the result of automation similar to XBOW.
I would say it's a little bit like, ChatGPT has these M dashes that it leaves behind. That is a sign of ChatGPT writing your email for you. I don't think that signature is quite as obvious yet, but we're working with heuristics like the time that Oege mentioned. Go for it, sir.
Quick one. I've heard that a lot of people are bearish on modern code generation systems because of the way they work. They're linear, single pair, the kind of something. But it seems like you are bearish at a deeper level. Even if the way we generate code changes, it is plain English, we can describe modules, connections to other systems, it still will not work.
So the question is, I said I'm short on code generation, and the reason I'm short on code generation is that it's not very good at the architectural level, deciding on making the big design decisions. And you're wondering why I'm
About the chat approach. If the approach changes, it still will not be good.
I don't think that any of the approaches that are currently out there are going to make a huge difference. The fact that you're using swarms of cooperating agents is not going to make it fundamentally different from having a single agent. No.
Thank you.
I will say that it's kind of what I said. The answer I gave earlier about penetration testing is kind of similar. That the big conceptual work, which personally I think is the most enjoyable part, the most creative part of pen testing, and also on the software engineering side, the big design decisions are the most interesting, creative parts of. Those are still best done by humans. So I'm not sure that I fully heard that. How does XBOW find 0 days?
One.
So it very much works like a normal human pen tester. It will first explore. It will come up with hypotheses and try each of these hypotheses. It manages to do completely unexpected things that most humans would not try. And I have often summarized this by saying hallucination is a feature. For this particular application, it's great if it tries weird things. So for example, for the Salesforce bug that we published yesterday, it tried a JSON content type that no human would have tried in order to get a cross-site scripting vulnerability, and in this case, that worked.
Fascinating. Well, that's all the time we have, folks. If you have more questions, it's uhe@expo.com. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.